Hello and welcome to Supreme Commander Forged Alliance Forever. This is a Group A match from Legend of the Stars Finals featuring Fremy Speed Draw, that's Petric, and Nexus. And this is the winners match, best of 3. So both these players have one best of 3 series win behind them, and the winner of this match will go straight through to the playoffs. The loser will have to face one of Thomas or Death Squad. So we saw Petric take out Thomas 2-1, Nexus beat Death Squad. We have not casted that series, however. And now we're on Theta Passage as the first map. Both players choosing Aeon. Probably one person chose Aeon, probably Petric, I would guess. And then the other person feels obliged to also go Aeon. The value, of course, being... value for Aeon, of course, being their... longer range Tion tanks, the Aurora, and on a 5x5 map they can give you quite a decent advantage if used correctly, and both these players have some of the best micro in Forged Alliance, so they're not gonna give up that range advantage to the other players. So we have an Aeon mirror, and we have a lab from Petric, we have with the scout, and we have only a scout from Nexus. Nexus spots some danger ahead, already has a tank out, and he should be able to kill this lab and not allow the lab to actually do any damage. Meanwhile, his scout will carry on across the map and search Petric's base for an air factory. And if he finds it, he will react with his own, but we can see both players have land planned. Actually, slightly later air factory. Is that third air or is it fourth air? You see. See, he waits until he kills the scout before he goes for the air factory, so he doesn't give away. Nexus still doesn't know that there's air factory coming. He just sees a land factory in one pigeon, which one pigeon would be required anyway for the next couple of land factories, most likely. Well, it seems like, well, yeah, actually you can do without that pigeon, but it doesn't necessarily mean that there's an air factory coming, that he sees one pigeon here. But there is an air factory, and it's got a bomber queued, of course, because you should not build anything other than a bomber first from this factory, unless you see an air factory in your opponent's base, of course, but he doesn't, so you have to make the bomber, of course, because you want to do damage. Building an air factory on a 5x5 map just to make inties and scouts is a bad mistake. That Petric is not going to make. So let's see where the ACU is heading towards middle. There's quite a few rocks here that are very nicely spaced out now. They're not all on top of each other. The reclaim on this map has been equalized, which is quite nice. And we also have some reclaiming these wrecks here in the middle. The bomber is searching for engineers, and you see that nice micro from Nexus. He splits all the engineers in different directions. He loses one engineer, that's fine. He didn't even take any damage on his power generator, so it's not the worst. Nexus with far more tanks here needs to be using them aggressively. When you see your opponent with a bomber out, you know you have to have more units, unless you're just a significantly worse player, and he's not. 4 anti-air come out though, that's maybe a bit much. Almost loses one. Lost a tank, and it's several engineers there to that bomber. definitely paid for itself. And now we have just air scouts and oh, one more bomber, and now we have engineers at this factory. So that's quite nice. He doesn't want to invest in too many bombers, so you can see he uses this as the engineer factory, and the back factory will just make tanks for him, which is quite nice because of course if he keeps making a lot of bombers they will die to the anti-air. But making a couple bombers, he made one, went for the base, makes another one which go for the tanks at the front. He's gotten a few kills, but unfortunately actually he's gonna die now. Oh, gets one more drop away with nice micro, killing a tank and a radar. That bomber fully paid for itself. And this air is going... This air move has been very productive for Petric so far. And you can see now no more anti-air coming out of the base. He has 2 on top, 2 on the bottom. He should not and will not over spam those. They're expensive units. And they will lose you the land war if you make too many of them. So now air from Nexus, he has an inti out. And Petric also making intis now, as he will need them. Gets another bomber out. Doesn't... Oh, it kind of missed there. Or no, it actually hit a mechs. Just some miss micro, or maybe just auto attack from the bomber there, but it does get wasted. However, it does actually scout for Nexus, for Petric, and now he can send in his tanks, and he just barely wins that fight there. Has 1 tank left over, can kill a radar, anti-air, and an engineer potentially. 6 kills now. 7 kills, 2 veterancy. What a beast. On the top side, just Aurora Warfare. And oh, the micro from these players. Nexus with the largest concave in the history of Theta here, in 3 separate groups for Aurora. Petric. Yeah, they both need to be careful here. They can't let their units go too far away. Nexus sends a few to the bottom right. Clean up this mess. Shouldn't send his scout away. These tanks, well, they have a radar now to help them. Nice air scout from Petric, giving him good vision, and he's going to run away. He has a PD back here, so these tanks can't actually make any progress. They can only defend. Meanwhile, on the front line, neither player has actually been able to kill much of anything with their ACU, which just shows how... This shows the real value of the Aurora. It's not possible to... like... have an ACU on 5 kills and 3 kills at this point in the game in any other matchup but this one, where you have tanks that actually outrange the ACU. So neither player can actually get in range of any tanks, and well, with their own gun they can get the tanks can get in range of the ACU all they want and then dodge away very quickly. So both players have lost HP. Neither player's really gained any veterancy whatsoever, but it looks like Petric may be doing slightly better here. Nexus finally gets some shots away with his ACU. Not many though. Overall, very even game right now. Some air building up for Petric. Looks like he might have 1 more inti perhaps. Maybe 2. But Petric has sort of stopped using his ACU, which is a mistake, and we can see that now Nexus is coming forward, actually making progress, and needs to be very careful, of course. Still, both players do. Petric's units have gotten quite far away now from his ACU, which is dangerous. There is some reclaim to fight for. And actually, oh, quite a lot of reclaim to fight for here. This is a big win for Nexus on the top side. He can raid the top corner. He shouldn't send all of his tanks, and he won't. You can see that. Perfect. Just sends 2 tanks. That should be plenty to actually to get the kill. Obviously on the engineer, but also on the mexes before any reinforcements arrive to defend them. And now engineers have to be taking this location. There's one. Grabbing some reclaim. And it looks good for Nexus right now. Now perhaps some choice bombers are always, you know, a potential game swinger in Aeon Wars. But right now actually Nexus, the big problem for him is his HP on his ACU. 4k HP. Meanwhile, Petric is on 6k. And maybe Nexus just got a bit too far forward here. There's now a lot of reclaim building, a PD going up, almost finished, a factory on the front line. So now this reclaim field begins to look slightly better for Petric than Nexus. Although Nexus has been grabbing this, which is quite nice. An attempted run by should be denied. Nice bomber here killing radar. Actually, it won't be denied because both players are really focused on the ACU battles. Both of them are so low on HP now. 5,000 versus 3,000. Neither of them seem likely to get a veterancy. And actually, Nexus is definitely going to die here. It's taken damage from the PD. I don't know where Petric's units have gone. Petric, goes down after Nexus' explosion. And at the end, Petric had completely run out of units. Nexus completely surrounded Petric with Aurora. His explosion, Nexus' explosion, didn't kill all of the Aurora. There was still some over here, I think, which finished off Petric's ACU. Wow, Petric nearly stole the win there. Nexus playing pretty well. And we are going to have a rematch on the same map. So let's skip right to it. Round 2 in this game 2, still on map 1 now. And I think we're going to have the same matchup in terms of factions. Here we go. Aeon v Aeon. Now let's see if the build orders change. Let's see if we still see a lab from Petric. Let's see if... I expect we will see that scout from Nexus for sure. That's not the kind of thing you only throw in once. It's the sort of thing you have in your builder at all times. And well, there's no lab here anyway, so slight change from Petric. We'll also have to see how the air plays out because we saw Petric go third air in the previous game. Nexus wanted full land and only to play reactionary versus airplay. And it looks like Nexus has the same state of mind here as well. Petric doesn't look like he's going for air. So he's switching it up. And you can't really blame him for switching it up because he was not winning that last game. He nearly stole the win, but it would have been a steal for sure. Looks like Petric's scout did not make it all the way to the base. And neither did Nexus. Or did he in fact not send a scout? Oh, he did. That's it. So neither player gets vision of the other's base. And both of them are going full land, so that won't actually be too impactful. Early Aurora goes down after killing only a scout and doing a bit of damage to an Aurora. One Aurora stands guard as the bottom two mexes are grabbed. Everything being sent to the top, and only now are units sent to the bottom. Looks like Petric is quite a bit slower than Nexus in this location. but a little faster in others. 4 land factories up versus actually 4.5. So nice from Nexus to be half a factory ahead of Petric. 4 minutes in on Theta. I think that means you have a pretty good build order. And I know Nexus said that he did have a little bit of practice and made a build for Theta Passage and a few other maps, but certainly this one I remember mentioning. And yeah, you can see 6 factories, 5 factories. So we gotta see if that really turns out to be a big advantage. Ooh, well, that's slightly less than optimal. 23 tanks versus 26, just slight difference, but it's all about the margins on a map like this. Not many mechs is available, so a few extra tanks, you can make them work. Nice raid here. 4 tanks go through. Neither of these armies have radar, and so they're not shooting at each other. Finally, Petric shoots and absolutely cleans them up completely without taking any damage. Holy shit. And that raid is exceptional. That raid... This is like... Well, Nexus does have the top side, but this raid is huge. Petric completely needed this. He's not looking in a solid position on the top side, really. Looks fairly even, but again, 2 mexes up here are quite juicy for Nexus. Air factory planned, and that plan was discontinued for reasons unknown. Perhaps mass, perhaps power. He only does have 260 power, so running an air factory for any length of time is going to be difficult. And, you know, the mass is not exactly easy to come by. He's trying to grab some reclaim up here and raiding the top, and now Petric looks in a good position, and he actually looks like he has more units as well. Let's see, 42, the answer to the universe. 48 for Nexus, but no, he has terrible rally points, which will cost him dearly. Hey, a fifth of my army is standing around in my base. Why am I losing? Petric does like to invest in a PD down here. You can see he makes full use of it by never sending tanks here, ever. Which is maybe 240 mass for a PD is cheap in those circumstances. Nexus seems to be walking into some units, but getting good kills, costing him HP. Trading HP for kills means he really needs to get the first vet level, I would say, to get the regen and stuff. How much... Now there's a question that would be impossible to answer. How much HP is worth trading for 5 Aurora kills? Impossible to know these things. And yet, they're somehow relevant questions. Very similar HP, slightly more for Petric. And slightly more vet for Nexus. And Nexus again with his wonderful concave. Encroaching, enclosing around Petric, who is being forced backwards. Now that the units have left the base and come to the front line, Nexus actually does have a unit advantage, and ooh, it's very slight though, isn't it? But the micro is winning it for him. See how he just never lets Petric really get much of anything done. Petric gets a few kills there. Oh, he has sent units down to the bottom corner now, and he really shouldn't do that. Why are all these units going downwards when he's under so much pressure on the top side and there's all this reclaim building on the front? A lot of forward factories Which makes me think, yeah, he can't actually afford to produce from all these unless he's getting reclaimed consistently. He's going to need a few more engineers taking this reclaim, and it looks quite bad on the top side. He is trying his best, but can't make big gains, although now he's... Oh, he's just let Nexus get out of range there. Gonna get a raid away on the top side. Needs to be very careful there. Both the ACUs are in range of each other now. And both of them are... Don't tell me that we are going to... Yeah, it's a fucking draw. Well, Petric managed to steal a bit more reclaim in this game. It was certainly still even. See, Petric brought... he had a big group of units going down here, and that was really a mistake, but once he brought them back, he was able to be, again, quite even in the middle, but they just then... They're always on low HP, because they constantly are getting kited by the Aurora, and then if they ever get into range of the other ACU, it's basically confirmed death, because they're... For both of them, because they're on 4 or 5k HP. So let's see if they can avoid it in the next game, and one of them can actually snag a win. But they've been very even. Somehow, well, I mean, it feels like Nexus has been better, honestly, in these two games. Just slightly. I mean, certainly in the first game, Nexus sort of threw away the win, I would say. But in the second game, still a very even match. Alright. Take 3, and we have a second lab from Petric, which will be immediately spotted by Nexus. Although Nexus is likely to lose his... No, look, he's very quick. Does not lose his scout. He's going to track this this lab and kill it with his Aurora. Interesting that Petric goes for a lab again, and also sends it straight through the middle. I mean, if he goes north, then he can bypass the scout, so maybe he didn't really... Yeah, it's just not the best play with that lab in the game 3 of this this map. But we do have another switch up. Second air from Petric. Nexus doing the same thing, except this time he's not using his ACU. Which is not a good change up. Bomber is on its way. Third air didn't work. No air didn't work. So time to try second air. And that's pretty good. Actually, maybe it was a huge brain move to send the lab through, because then Nexus tracked the lab with his scout, didn't send the scout to the base, and then he doesn't ever get a chance to see that there's an air factory. And so Petric can go second air. Now, if he told me he did that, I might believe him and I might not. It's a good idea. Potentially. This NG looks like he's going to escape bombing. But the base will not be safe. Again, Nexus instantly splitting all his engineers in different directions. Unfortunately, he does it so fast that his engineers actually just stop moving and then eat the next bomb. Oh, beautiful bomb there on that engineer from Petric. And he's gotten 2 engineers and a tank and 3 engineers now. Wait, so yeah, 3 engineers and a tank. Excellent bomber. Second bomber going to come out. This guy's completely defenseless. He will most likely die. Engineers on the top are also the next best targets. And again, we have... I think we might be overbuilding anti-air in this scenario. Again, Nexus not able to make too much ground up here on the top side. Also, I guess you know, pushing on the top side because you should have more units because your enemy made bomber. I mean, there's not actually that much to gain because your opponent won't even have it expanded to here. If you push to here and get bombed, you're going to leave a lot of reclaims, so it's actually hard to know. Oh, fuck. 4 bombs. 4 Auroras dead with 1 bomb. That was painful, and look at how many anti-airs are out. 7 anti-airs now. That's so bad, and a full mass bar. We have 4 land factories versus 4 land factories and air factory. Power is an issue though, but we have 20 tanks versus 12 tanks and 7 anti-air. Already looks like the best game Petric has played in out of the 3 we've had on this map. Another bomb just took out 3 units there. Looks like maybe 2 Aurora and a scout, I would say. Something like that. Maybe an engineer, actually, because they're... Oh, no, he's dead here. Never mind. So, quite a bit of damage done. On the bottom, again, we have the PD. And now tanks coming through. And this raid is going to be successful. Both ACU's trading HP now. I am very worried when I see something like this that maybe we'll have a map... Another game on this map. Quite a lot of factories going up for Nexus, and he actually, yeah, that's why I say a lot, because he definitely can't afford them. He is only slowing down his production. This is not the kind of eco balance we are used to from Nexus of reality. Petric may have been stalling this whole time. I wouldn't be that surprised. But completely empty resource bars and a lot of aggression as well. Again, has HP advantage versus Nexus. Seems to have had that in every game so far. Another bomber suicides itself in and gets 4 kills. Look like, what, 3 Aurora and a anti-air perhaps? And actually the bomber's still alive? What the fuck? How did it survive there? And an engineer goes down. Killing the raider would be fantastic as well. This raid actually got the whole way up to here and killed 3 mexes in fact. This bomber has 6 kills now. Another bomber's arriving, killing another engineer. And a little bit of reclaim. And Petric has the top, and he's walling off this side, which is very nice. And the bombers can go after the power now. Oh my god, he's hitting 5 pigeons at once. 1 more pass, and I mean, he's getting 2 bombs away. These pigeons are gone. 5 dead pigeons. Oh, wait, no. Oh, yes, in fact. Somehow 4 died and then the other one died. But that's 5 dead pigeons, and the reclaim got bombed, so that's horrible for Nexus. 10 kills on that bomber. Doesn't get any more bombs away. The next bomber looks like it might just suicide. Yep. And Nexus now dropping very low on HP, under 2k. Getting target fired by the Aurora now. He will die. Yeah, there we go. Next, Petric with a very healthy 4k HP. And finally, we have a decisive victory. A decisive result. And it goes to Petric, which Nexus will not feel good about, because he was doing very well in the first game, quite alright in the second game, and this game did not go well. The bomber, the first bomber did quite a bit of damage from the second air factory, and subsequent bombers did big damage. We saw early Auroras go down 4 in 1 bomb. It seemed like every bomb killed 3 or 4 units. And then they killed 5 pigeons, which is just crushing. I mean, how many pigeons does he have left after those 5 die? He has a hydro and 1 other pigeon. So that's like a third of his power production. just gone. No coming back from that in 8 minutes on Theta. So, 1-0 to Petric. Finally, we have a 1-0. And we move on to map 2. Map 2 is Settings Clutch. The maps are chosen in a specific way. Before the tournament, players were allowed to send in a map list of what they would like to see, and basically these lists were collected by FTX, and 7 maps were chosen for each group based on the players in that group preference, and then you ban 2 maps each and play the remaining 3. And so this is the result in this matchup is Theta followed by Settings. Nexus says, you know, this is also a draw map. Yes, certainly is. Early on, when of course both ACs are heading for the mid reclimb, you can definitely get a draw. It's not a 0% chance of draws happening. Petric says sarcastically, just don't move your AC to mid. And of course you have to move your AC to mid, given there's about 15,000 in reclaim. Oh, it says what, 13,300. Alright, thought it was 15k, but it's a bit less. Both players have gone for Seraphim. Both these players are Seraphim players, really. Nexus, big Seraphim player. Petric, probably. Well, it's definitely his main faction, I would say. In general. Although he likes Cybern, of course. Nexus did go a long time on the ladder where he just played Cybern only, of course, as well. Who hasn't, though? Second LAN, we have 3 pigeons, so Petric is funding his second LAN factory with some trees. Trees here, some trees here. Nexus going for second air and assisting his bomber. Well, this is not the Nexus we know. This is somebody else on his account. But here we go. So now he's heading to middle, and he's actually still assisting his air factory. He should probably... Yeah, he's now gone to make some more factories. He's going to make a factory first and then follow it with pigeons. Has enough power in the bank to do that. And we also have some expansion. Just trying to avoid the trees, which is admirable and understandable from the best Settings player, I would say, at the moment. Or, well, I guess nobody's really been playing Settings that much recently, but definitely Nexus was the best Settings player of 2019. And so he has great respect for trees. He's a climate change activist. The bomber is arriving. Smooth, says Petric. I guess we have a little bit of lag. Nexus is a bit known for his lags as well. Bomber arrives. Looks like it'll only kill 1 engineer though. And already we have an Inti. Oh, the Inti is actually tracking the wrong unit though. It was attacking the air scout there. And now Nexus has his own Inti, which may just kill... Oh my goodness. 3 kills now for the bomber. Petric's Inti has died for free to Nexus Inti. Another bomb. 2 kills. Oh, what a dodge. Saved both those engineers now, and an anti-air forced out. More anti-airs actually coming out, and Nexus will lose his inti. And Petric saved as much as he could. Now there's an issue here. Why does Nexus only have 2 land factories? Meanwhile, 4 land factories in the base for Petric versus 2, well, a third one now. Nexus with an insane amount of build power all in one place. Could you imagine a bomb right there? It would be one of the most disgusting things you'd ever see. And Nexus, this is quite nice. It's so dangerous to have this many engineers in one place, but it's so nice to be able to throw factories instantly and actually make use of the mid reclaim he's getting with his ACU. But if we look in mid, he has 0 tanks with his ACU. So he could be pushed out of the water with just these 5 or 6 tanks and the ACU. Nexus could get pushed away, and also Petric has an engineer. Now this is really good. You should definitely have engineers with your ACU at the front line. At least one to help you get reclaim. Allow your ACU to fight if necessary. There's a problem where if you don't have any engineers in middle, sometimes you'll have to fight with your ACU, or you can't avoid fighting, and you stop reclaiming and suddenly you're minus 40 mass. And if you want to avoid that, bring some NGs. If Nexus gets forced into the water, this is going to look very bad for him, because there's still a lot of reclaim. About half of it still here. Actually, more than half is still there. Petric now dropping on the opposite side. He's going for a proxy in the rock position, it looks like. Nice bomber from Nexus. Kills the expanding engineer. This is a pretty slow expanding engineer as well, so this beach is going to be denied for a long time. I'm wondering, well, actually, of course, because this transport is here, Petric is not going to be transporting right now to his beach, rock, air, island positions. And yeah, Nexus just backs away. He doesn't even go in the water, he's just backwards. Just retreating, and Petric steps forward to take the reclaim closest to Nexus. As he falls back, he can grab other bits. Sneaky. This is a great position, actually. I mean, for one, you can, well, it's actually not great in terms of building, but it's quite good in terms of these mexes are some of the last to be built often in settings 1v1. They're not the priority, obviously, being quite far away from the base and quite spread out. You're going to go for the bases more likely first, so it's unlikely that this is going to be spotted unless Nexus has it in his head specifically to look for proxies, which actually, if you're playing against Petric settings 1v1, you should have the idea of proxies in your mind. Petric is just getting all this reclaim for free. Nexus not really putting up a fight for it. And Petric is now passed out Nexus in reclaim, and he's just sucking on these T3 wrecks casually and without remorse. And he also has some nasty things brewing on the left side that Nexus is completely unaware of. Will he drop somewhere? He will probably... Oh, this is interesting. He may or may not see this now. He's not dropping on any of these 3 mexes. He's dropping close, and he's going to fly past. Also, Petric... Oh my god, he's going to drop engineers now back here somewhere to make a secondary proxy. So maybe... I mean... Already this proxy is a bit too far advanced to actually stop. He's going to be spotted. Transports actually have decent vision. And yeah, look, he spotted it immediately and is now dropping engineers because he wants to get PD and maybe factories. But he literally has no reclaim. He's gotten so little of the mid reclaim now. He has more mass income, but he has less total mass because, well, look, he's 3,000 mass behind. And Petric still has full access to all of this reclaim. Still has T2 and T3 Rex to grab. And Nexus also on low HP. Petric on full HP. So this mid has just gone incredibly well for Petric. Couldn't have gone better. And this game is... it has to be fucked already for Nexus, because this is crazy damage he's taking. He's gonna lose this whole rock position. Petric should also take all the mexes. Here, he can take quite a few of these mexes for himself, and he's making another proxy, although that has been spotted somehow. How has that been spotted? So it looks pretty bad for Petric. 1 second. So, ouch. Now units being sent back from the main base to try and clean up this proxy. Wait, he spotted the... oh yeah, he has spotted the extra factories as well. Now those might actually be dealt with. Tanks heading back. Oh. This does not feel good. And we have the gun coming up in the middle. Seems reasonable. T2 land is done. We have some T2 mexes. Ooh. Well, looks like he's doing okay against this proxy. He might be able to kill it with this army and this army. Over here, he has successfully killed the engineers, so there won't be more factories. But he will need a few more units to deal with this, perhaps. Although, the Zoes are so good that they may be able to kill both the factories. And now in the middle, Nexus does finish the gun just in time to be able to stop this army from cancelling his upgrade and pushing him back, and even killing him potentially. Petric just leaving. He's being very careful now. Does not want to lose his ACU on the front lines when the game is going this well. Oh, another drop from Petric. Is he gonna... what's he gonna do? Is he gonna make more factories? It looks like it. Navy on the bottom side from Nexus is the first we see in that arena, but Petric slowly getting some naval production. Going to build some on the island after he grabs all the mexes. Nexus now gonna farm some T1 land units. He's gonna have to push this back big time. There's actually still T2 Rex here, but now Petric is gonna clean them up. Still has one here as well though. But if we look at the reclaim numbers, total mass, somehow Nexus is ahead, and I guess that can only be explained by a few extra T2 mexes, which he has had for a while now. Honestly, it's kind of impressive he had those T2 mexes, but maybe that mass would have been better spent in other ways. And Petric finally getting the last of his mexes on his side. Nexus still has not cleaned up this mess here. He should make some bombers. There's no anti-air here whatsoever. Bombers could do some damage. And he also has not got his expansion island. More factories coming up, and I don't see... oh, I do see a radar here. That may not be in range. It is. It is. Uh-oh. Do we have any tanks coming out? No, so it suggests that this hasn't been spotted yet. I'm sure it will be shortly. It's not exactly hidden. Navy looking fine. transport spotted by the amazing frigate radar, but not killed by the also relatively amazing frigate anti-air. Nexus finally pushes back, gets a little bit of reclaim, not much, let's be honest. And there's a lot of air flying over the Nexus base and winning air completely. There's also that drop. That's what, 2 tanks and a scout. Interesting. Not too many units there, but here we have quite a few engineers going to steal the island. And again, actually Nexus has run out of units here. He's stopped sending units backwards. He's also stopped making T1 land units, which is fair enough. Actually, both players seem to have stopped making T1 land units, except some Zuis for sure. And actually, oh, here's what the Zuis are for. T2 transports are out and drops are coming. This proxy was not really spotted, and now more T1 factories are forced up. That is expensive. You can't really afford to make all these T1 factories when he's trying to make T2 Navy. He's trying to make T2 land and air, and he still has to kill this proxy. Otherwise, he will never, ever come back in this game. There's just too much to do for Nexus. Meanwhile, what does Petric have to do? Well, he can just make Navy on the top side and win it, because there's no naval production there whatsoever. From the bottom, he just needs to protect with TMD against the cruisers, and meanwhile he has plenty of time on his hands to manage his economy and get some drops away. Will the anti-air stop this drop? It should do. Oh no, they're shooting at something else. Oh, and actually the transport dropped right at the edge, and now actually the anti-air may die. Oh, there's so many T2 engineers here. Why? Oh my god, that is a disgusting amount of T2 engineers, and they're all dying. Got like 2,000 mass in T2 engineers there, and now the air factory is being targeted. It will go down. Will it? No, it won't. In fact, oh, it might be close though. Down to 1,400, but denied. This cruiser seems to have come out just slightly too late to catch this transport, and now we have Zuis and Ilshis. They gotta run away so they don't get cruisered. But this expansion is dead. And all these fresh T1 factories may die as well. Yeah, over 1,000 mass here in new factories. There's drops coming in all directions now, as Nexus tries to also micro on the front line, but he's got PDs in his way. His cruiser's obviously not capable of doing anything to defend against all these units, which are going to kill everything in a large radius. There's no more units for Nexus here, and now Petric can move out and start doing more raiding from this position, dropping Zuis now in the front air base to kill all the economy there and engineers. And Nexus is surely completely ruined now, and now he's actually running T1 tanks into T1 PD, but he has so many tanks, I guess it's not even that bad. But how can he deal with everything here? This drop has somehow failed. I think he went a bit too close to the edge, but once he spots it, he can drop in the back base. And this looks even worse. It looked bad before. Now it looks terrible. I love the aggression though. Petric showing that aggression wins games like these. Goes for proxy here as well. Many drops all at once, so you can't even catch any of them. I mean, could catch some potentially. Oh, that's a nasty bomb. And look, I mean, even with all these anti-air here, still the drop landed and did big damage. Somehow he kept his T2 HQ alive. But Petric will go T2 Navy. Yes, and then the cruisers will come. And pressure will only build. I mean, look at how many empty mech spots we have on Nexus side. Petric has taken no damage all game. He took damage from that bomber. He did not take enough damage from that bomber from Nexus. Nexus will finally kill this proxy, but it will be far too late to make any real difference. He will get his mexes back. But on the front line, I mean, he will surely just die to air. He has no anti-air in the front line. He does have full veterancy on this ACU. He has done some damage, but he has no flak. And doesn't look good. More drops coming in. Will this one land? It could do. If it drops right here, it could do. But it won't be saved, actually. It will die to just 2 inties. At least that's something. This transport has some she's aboard that were forgotten about from earlier. Gunship's also doing some raiding. And Nexus cruisers are sitting at home, sadly. Gunship goes down. This transport getting some kills. Well, hasn't gotten any kills yet. It is trying to do some damage. It actually is struggling because it can't really do enough DPS to kill this tank, which has regen thanks to a veterancy. But now it looks like it will go down. The air is locked. The transport and Ilshis will drop though. Probably shouldn't focus so much on that irrelevant transport, but really it feels like there couldn't possibly be any way back, right? 131 mass to 89 now. Finally some damage getting done by Nexus. But his cruisers are doing damage at around the same time that Petric's cruisers have arrived to do damage, despite the fact that he's had T2 Navy for far longer. And actually now Petric taking the time, taking advantage of there being no frigates here and getting more build power in the water. He's gotten torp defense here, so he could actually make factories here as well. And if he can contest this navy is already won. What is this? Oh, an Otham. An Otham aboard a T2 transport. It's landing right in the base. Oh, right in the front of the base. And there's nothing here. Well, actually no, there's 5 T1 PDs here, which I hope he doesn't run into. He runs directly into them. He's gonna suicide the Otham. Ah, oh, damn. You hate to see it. Oh, you hate to see this as well. The cruiser under fire from Zooies. Run away. And this cruiser has no direct fire weapon to shoot back with, so the frigates have to be called back. That's a lot of Zooies for 3 frigates to kill. But with the good micro, you should be able to do it. They do start running away. But again, the cruisers can't get through. I mean, this is way overkill on the TMD, honestly, versus Seraphim cruisers. Oh, but Nexus needs to invest in more TMD, that's for sure. He only has 2 now. They're being 3. They're being focused down. And some of those missiles are getting through just about. Another. Oh, both TMDs went down there. And now it's free reign for the cruisers to kill pretty much anything they want. They can focus down the last TMD and then go for PGen, HQs, and oh, bombers coming in killing engineers. They could have killed the TMD as well. And surely these drops will end the game. Just about drops those 3 Othams and a lot of Zooies here with nothing to stop them. This is surely the end. There's so many cruisers here, but actually he's run out of frigates, so some submarines come across here. They will immediately kill, or quickly kill those cruisers. Also, the Zooies have nothing to stop them either. Now T1 bombers coming in, and Petric is just going for just attack everywhere. These 3 Othams at the back are going to kill can kill all the power. The Zuis have killed the T2 Air HQ, and T3 land is coming from Nexus, but it's only 33%. More drops are coming, more cruisers are coming. Actually, no, T2 Navy is idle, but Nexus calls GG. It's very, very over. And yeah, I think Nexus going for that build where he makes second air. Rushes the bomber was not good, honestly. He really lost most of the mid reclaim, and I mean, it was almost uncontested. He just lost HP in his ACU, and Petric was completely fine and got almost all the reclaim. And at the same time, Petric also got a nice proxy in a good position here, which was very painful, very annoying, and very disheartening if you're against that and you have a proxy on your side and your enemy has no such problem to deal with. Never makes you feel good about your prospects in the game. And yeah, so very well played, Petric. And also the Nexus 2-0 to Petric after 4 games. And Petric goes through to the playoffs on the back of this win. Nexus will go on to play the winner of Thomas Hyatt versus Death Squad. So that's the cast for today. Thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed. Tune in for more Legend Stars finals. I think we'll have a ladder cast soon, and other fun stuff. So see you next time, guys. Have a good one.